He had just preached on Sunday, and after a late afternoon, he was walking home when he was attacked by robbers, and they took everything that he had. It was London, it was dark, it was cold, but he made his way home. And being a minister, a preacher, he sat down and he wrote this about his experience. Let me be thankful. First, because I was never robbed before. Second, because although they took my purse, they did not take my life. Third, because although they took my all, it was not very much. And fourth, because it was I who was robbed, not I who robbed. Could you do that? Could you be thankful for being robbed? It's a level of gratitude and thanksgiving at a master level. To not turn to bitterness. I don't know about you, but my story all day the next day would have been, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what happened to me. Let me tell you this story, and ain't it awful? But Matthew Henry, a Bible scholar from 1713, saw something different in it. He saw all the things that it could have been and that it wasn't, and then he was a good man and he was grateful. And he sets an example for us. That's what master teachers do. They set an example for us and they show us how we can take our ordinary living and our ordinary gratitude to the next level. For 2 weeks, we're going to be looking at gratitude. It usually gets 1 week a year. It gets the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So I decided to expand it and add a second week so that we can talk about this and have a week to go and play with it and learn about it and come back next week and really reflect on it before we dive into the potluck. And you can be grateful for that in advance. We are grateful for the potluck that is coming. And this week I invite you into a master level of gratitude. What would the next level of gratitude be for you? Another master teacher in this is our beloved Myrtle Fillmore. In her book, How to Let God Help You, she has a whole chapter on Thanksgiving. She tells you how to have a nice Thanksgiving. She tells you how to have a nice Christmas and how to raise kids and how to bring this in. And this is what Myrtle says about gratitude. Praise and thanksgiving have within them the quickening spiritual power that produces growth and increase. Praise and thanksgiving has a quickening spiritual power. There is something added. It's exponential when we are grateful, when we are in this place of appreciation. We are growing spiritually. We're not just doing what's right. We're not just going through the act. We are growing spiritually every time we are in gratitude. And we're grateful for all these masters because they teach us this. This is a key element of your spiritual growth. And we're following the gurus because have you ever met an ungrateful guru? No, they're filled with gratefulness. And so as new gurus, that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow them. And as I got ready to do this talk, every year you come around to the same talks as a minister. What am I going to say this Easter? What am I going to say this Thanksgiving? How do I make it fresh for myself? And so I prayed and I thought about it throughout the week, as I always do. And I realized that the question that we always ask at this time of year about being grateful, what's the question we say?
What are you grateful for?
What are you grateful for, right? You're going to write a list. You're going to come through next Wednesday. We're going to talk about what we're grateful for. So the question is usually, what are you grateful for? And I realized I want to ask a new question. What are you grateful from? Not what is it that you get in order to be grateful, but how are you grateful to begin with? I am grateful from God. I am grateful for my divine nature, from the higher and the best self of me. The other side of me is not so grateful. It's ungrateful. So I am grateful when I am in my spiritual nature. It's been said that being grateful is your spiritual barometer. You want to know how you're doing spiritually? How much gratitude are you living in? How much appreciation are you living? What are your conversations like? Are they filled with complaining for things that have happened? Because I know every single one of you is facing challenges of some sorts. Big ones, small ones. And then where's your gratitude? Because I also know that there are amazing, wonderful things that are happening in your life if we stop and notice them. So it's a check for you, your spiritual barometer. And so how are you grateful? Where are you grateful from? From God, from the life of abundance, from an unlimited supply. You are grateful from that place. And perhaps the best master teacher of all of this is the master teacher Jesus. From Mark 6:41 we would read, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes and looking up to the heaven, he gave thanks. And he broke the loaves. And then he gave them to his disciples to distribute to the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them, and they all ate and were satisfied. He fed the crowd of people with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And how big was the crowd?
5,000 plus.
5,000 plus. Why was it plus, Carolyn?
Because it's women and children who are not considered.
So women and children weren't even included in the count. So it's the blessing of the 5,000 plus. In other words, a really big number of people fed with a really small amount of food. That's the miracle story that we read about. And what did he do about Thanksgiving? When did he give Thanksgiving? Beforehand. Now that's pretty crazy. I've got all of you to feed. I couldn't feed you with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And he's feeding a multitude, and he's grateful ahead of time. Minister Rick Warren says, being thankful to God after a blessing has come is being grateful. Being thankful to God before the blessing comes is faith. Jesus had faith. He had faith of what was going to come, and so it was a miracle level of gratitude that he lived from. Emily Cady is another master teacher for us, and this is what Emily says about that. There is something about the mental act of thanksgiving that seems to carry the human mind far beyond the region of doubt, into the clear atmosphere where faith and trust tell us all things are possible. She didn't know way back then when she said something is happening in the mind, that something literally is happening in your brain when you're in gratitude. Did you know that? Dopamine is being released when you're grateful. So if you're not having a great day, you want to get your brain going here, just like getting up and moving, you can start giving some gratitude, and you will start to change what's happening inside of you, no matter what's going on out there. I don't know about you, but I learned to be grateful when I was growing up. I learned that I was supposed to be appreciative when people gave me things. So when someone gave you a present, what were you supposed to do?
Say thank you.
Say thank you. Elena probably tells Catalina every time, say thank you. Thank you. And then if you were really good, what else did you do when you got a gift? What's that? Gave them one? Wrote a note. I know, it's so retro. But you wrote a thank you note to somebody. I remember there was a time I couldn't go out and play until I had written a thank you note to my grandparents for my birthday gifts. So I wrote a thank you note. I said thank you to them. I learned to be grateful when good things happen to me. So quite often what happens is we're grateful after we've received. And what we're being called to do now is to drop the quid pro quo. It's not about when I get something, then I'm going to be grateful. It's about being grateful, and then I'm going to get something. And what I'm going to get, no matter what, is a change in my consciousness, a change in my attitude. And as I was getting ready to do this talk, and I thought about what my journey of gratitude had been, I had this memory of this important lesson that came to me about how I learned this many years ago, the beginning of how to live in this place. And so I wrote a poem. To be in gratitude. What does it mean to be filled with gratitude? It's a word I've used so often it seems to have lost its meaning. I try on other words like appreciate or like or value, and it's a noun. It's something that I have. I'm grateful. It's an adjective. I'm grateful for something. And then it's all just words, doing their best to point at the thing. Let me step back from it all. And that's when a lesson about gratitude from my teacher floods back into my mind. On a day that found me grumpy, she told me that I could turn it all around with gratitude. Of course, I had nothing to be grateful for, I thought. So she said I could be grateful for even the smallest of things to turn it around. And she proceeded then to tell me everything she was grateful for in that very moment. She was thankful for her carpet. Her carpet? I thought she was nuts. She's grateful for carpet? It seemed so silly, and I'm pretty sure I rolled my eyes. Appreciating carpet was not going to turn my day around. But I can picture it all these years later. Raggedy blue carpet. And she was grateful for it. She continued, I'm grateful for this table, for this lamp, for you, my student, for my cat, for my friends, and on it went for about a minute or two. I had never heard anyone be so grateful for such small things. Little did I know it was an important lesson in gratitude. She taught me that gratitude is a choice. I could be as grateful as I chose to be. The circumstances around didn't change in that room. I walked in sad, but I left different. I was in a mood of my own making, and she had opened the door to let me out. Now, years have passed since that afternoon lesson, and as I sit today, I consider it again. And I look around the office that I sit in. I notice a piece of artwork on the wall that my brother-in-law gave me, and it makes me smile. I notice a picture of my husband's two favorite baseball players, and I think about how crazy he is about baseball. A beautiful vase that a friend gave me, a poster that reminds me of the last play that I was in, an ironing board on the back of the door. Man, I'm glad I don't have to iron much anymore. A photo album that's ready for me, a Longaberger basket, a tiny stuffed moose that I got on Circulation Day at the beginning of my time in this church. He came from Caribou Coffee, which is where I met my husband on our first date. And it was like a sign from God telling me I was in the right place. I could go on forever in that one room just looking at things and never stop being grateful. All those things around me, I never give them a thought. And now I see a gratitude story surrounds me every day. I open my eyes and my heart and I'm flooded with gratitude. I don't need words. I let them slip away. The moose, the basket. I sit in a sea of gratitude. And it all starts with the carpet. Gratitude everywhere you go. It can be that way. Because it's not happy people who are thankful. It's thankful people who are happy. That's the key. And so I came up with a word. Again, I thought, I want to make this different. What's fresh about it? It's a word that came to me last year, and now I get to share it with you because, you see, I have two secret desires in life. The first one is to be on Broadway. The second one is to get a word into the Oxford English Dictionary. I have this dream that I'm going to make up one of those words and it's going to go viral, and it's up to you to make it go viral, and then it's going to become used so it ends up in the OED. So my word, the new word that I'm working on, is called grativancitude. Grativancitude. Break it down. It's an attitude of gratitude in advance. You got it. Grativancitude. That's the way a master lives.
Use that in a sentence.
Say that again. Use it in a sentence. I am filled with grativancitude for everything good coming into my life. I am filled with grativancitude. I live from grativancitude. It's what I want for all of you, an attitude of gratitude in advance. It's like sending out the advance team for an event. You send the advance team out, and they make the way clear for you, and they see where everything is, and they set the stage. Grativancitude sets the stage for good things to be appreciated by you. They're there all the time, and I believe it does cause more good things to happen. But most importantly, what I know is it helps you see the good things because you've shifted your perspective. And the benefits of living this way, well, they're endless. They now can tell you by scanning your brain what's lighting up when you're in gratitude. So it's changing your brain. It's changing the neural pathways in your brain to say, if I'm stuck in a rut of negativity over here, this is what my brain knows. And this is what it wants to go to. It actually kind of goes around in a circle, right? So this is where I am, and I always picture sort of the car stuck in the mud, and the tire can't get out. It can't get out. And so when we can find one way to swing out of that, just once, we start to make a new path. And then we may go around again, but then we go back to being grateful in whatever way we can, and slowly but surely, you can change and get out of the mud, of the rut, of the negative thinking. So gratitude is a way out of suffering and a way in to God. It gets you out of the rut, and it gets you in to the stuff that's in here that we sit in meditation. It gets me back into that place so I can take it out there with me. And the other side is thanklessness instead of thankfulness. When you are filled with thanklessness, you're not grateful for things no matter how great they are. And that leads us to be petty, and to be small, and to become mean, and jaded, and just look at what the energy is like of being thankless. And we will get caught up into that if we're not careful, and we're just looking at appearances, and we look at the things that we wish were different. And it's legit, they're there, I get it. There are times you want the bank account to be bigger, and you'd like more friends in the friend column, and you'd like a few more wins in life. And then when you stop and you realize all the blessings that you just take for granted every day. When I was in seminary down in Kansas City, that happened to me. I was bemoaning the fact that I was gone from Chicago, and I was missing my friends. If you've moved, you know that finding new people in a new area can be challenging sometimes. And so there I was, in my little pity party. I don't have any friends. I don't have any good friends. I miss this friend and that friend, and they're not going to be in my life, and I can't see them. And then I realized there was a whole bunch of people living right around me that I wasn't appreciating. And no, we weren't at that friend level yet, but I realized if I wanted to have friends, I needed to be a friend. And so it got me out of this rut of I don't have any friends here, I don't have any friends here to let me make a phone call. Oh, I have a phone that I can make a call with. It's so much easier to connect with people today. I can look on Facebook and see what's going on. I can look on Meetup and find somewhere to go, and suddenly it was a different world. And I had friends right there in Kansas City. And that's gratitude. Starting to see it differently. Because when you look back on anything that's challenged you, what you realize eventually is you were just being redirected to something better. So let's know it in advance. Let's affirm it in advance that something better is even coming out of this. That's what happened. I made friends in Overland Park that are still my friends today. But it was because of that sadness and the trauma of moving that happened. And I wouldn't have met some of them I go on vacation with to this day. So I'm grateful for the challenge that I went through because I see now what it did for me. Now, some of you are convinced, maybe all of you are convinced a little, but can I really be that grateful before I see blessings, before I get the payoff? Well, this week we're going to give you an opportunity to practice for yourself. And one way that you're going to do that is we are going to give all of you a gift today because we are a prosperous church. We give in gratitude every month. We give gratitude called tithing. We tithe as a church before we know what the end of the month is going to look like because we are blessed. We give first, called a tithe, a 10%. So this month, our tithe as a church is going back to you. Everyone here is going to get a $10 bill, and Sheila and Cindy, go ahead, pass them out. Start passing the money. Whee! Get ready to receive. You are now prosperous. I should see lots of smiles. Yay! How often do you come and get given $10? So your work this week is to take the $10, not put it in the basket here. Please do not put it here. What we want you to do is give gratitude out into the world in advance. We don't even know what the blessings are. Maybe it is a server who waits on you. Lord knows servers could use a little extra tip. Maybe it's something that you've always been wanting to do for someone. Maybe you pay in line at Starbucks for the person behind you and you zip out before they know you did it. Maybe you leave $10 in the jar for somebody. So this is your opportunity to take this and to be grateful in advance for some blessing that you are going to notice that you can then give a thank you to. And again, this is a demonstration of us as a church. Although we are struggling a bit with our finances, we will not stop tithing. We will not stop being generous. We will not go small. We will continue to play big. We will continue to know in advance that everything is in divine order and covered here. And so we have some 10s left, don't we?
Yeah.
Get rid of all of it. So some people are now going to get another 10. All right? So there you go. Double bonus. Shh, don't tell the people from First Service. They don't know. They only got 10, so you get a double. So continue to take this out because that's how blessed we are. And if you're not convinced, think about what Eric Butterworth said. Eric Butterworth said, it doesn't make any difference to God whether you're grateful or not, but it makes an awfully big difference to you. That's what gratitude is about. So you can step up your gratitude practice. Gratitude journals are wonderful. Keep doing that. It's wonderful to appreciate people. You should have a practice of thank you everywhere you go. If you're a boss, you can't thank people enough. If you're a worker, your boss probably could use a few thank yous. So thank your family member for doing whatever it is that they do. So let this be a week of gratitude for you. And use that word everywhere you can. Gratitude? What's that? Post it on Facebook. Oh, we've got a little bit left? Well, I haven't had one yet, so I'll take one. I'll take 2. And there might be a couple people out in the hallway. So, I can't wait. I have no idea where this is going, but I can't wait. And let me share one last quote from another master. We've heard from Eric Butterworth. We've heard from Myrtle. Let's hear from Martha Smock, a Unity teacher, and she says, "Do not wait to give thanks until things are perfect. Give thanks where you are, in the present set of circumstances, in the conditions in which you find yourself. Give thanks for life. Give thanks for the opportunities to grow and to learn. Give thanks in everything that you do. And perhaps maybe you start with the carpet." And so it is. I let the words of the song take me into meditation this morning. I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I feel that now. Beyond the words, the feeling and the knowing, the living of being blessed. My identity is blessed. I am blessed. And as I enter into this place of quiet, I notice the body. Let it be alert, relaxed, centered and grounded. I let go of any sense of working at this. I allow this to happen. I shed any worries, any striving, any guilt, any should. I set it aside. I am blessed. Nothing but blessed. In this season of Thanksgiving, I am filled with gratitude. I am blessed. I am blessed by the very nature of who I am, of what I am. I am divine. I'm a child of the universe, a child of God, a child of all that is good. I am life. I am love everywhere I go. I am divine. And I am blessed. And as I release into the silence, I stay in this place of appreciation, gratitude. In the silence, I am blessed. I am so blessed. And I take this feeling of appreciation bring to mind someone in my life that I would like to lift up in prayer today. I bring them to mind and I send them this love, this feeling. I know for them what I know for me. They are blessed in all ways. I hold this person in the light, and later today I may choose to call them, send them a note, or simply bring them to mind. And know, as I am blessed, you are blessed, the world is blessed. And so it is.